All right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever in this vast world it is that you are. Welcome once more to another live stream of Alexandra Mayers Live, page by page, reading and commentary of the modern English version of the Bible. So, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. I hope all of you out there have a wonderful and prosperous New Year. I do want to apologize for last night's reading. It did not go as I like the energy and the vibration and whatnot of these readings to go. I'm hoping that throughout this year, I find a way to relax a little bit, maybe let certain things go a little bit when it comes to a bit of negativity that I'm contending with when it comes to certain individuals and groups of people. I am going to take the time this year daily, even if it's only 3 to 10 minutes, to take time away from my day, pray, meditate, maybe do some stretching or yoga, because I think that would do me good. Maybe it would do a lot of you out there who listen for the right reasons some good too. Because we live in a very stressful world. I know that the world is only as stressful as we make it, but I know that those of you out there who listen to me for the right reasons, you're probably a lot like me. You're overachievers. You're people who shoulder more responsibility than you probably should or need to. I'm sure a lot of you out there are a little ADHD, a little OCD. Maybe you're on the spectrum to a degree. I'm all those things. And because of that, I tend to get over involved in certain elements of life. I get overly stressed out, and then that leads me to feeling a little bit defeated. But one thing I've really enjoyed about the first and the second book of Samuel has really been the account of David, the story of David. He went through a lot. He, in my opinion, is one of the first essential rock stars that's ever been. And he was a psalm writer or a songwriter, which is interesting. He played a musical instrument. He was a badass. He was the one who killed Goliath. That's how he gained a lot of fame. But then his peers and even the leader of his people became a little bit jealous of him. So they stalked him almost to death. And he could have, if he'd wanted to, completely eliminated his primary stalker, Saul. But God told him not to, so he didn't. And I can kind of relate to that in a weird way. As many of you know, I am trying very hard to ensure that a certain person known as Shay doesn't end up dead in the streets. And a lot of people who know about the situation have kind of come to my aid in regards to creating additional options for this person, taking some of the stress of the situation off me, and just coming together as a online sort of community, which is nice. But this particular young woman, she's aligned with some people who don't like me very much. And even though I'm helping her, I know for a fact that she stabbed me in the back on a few occasions, as she has some other people. But the story of David, from my perspective, does revolve tremendously around the element of forgiveness. Not forgetting, but forgiving. And it's just a testament to, no matter how much you listen to God, no matter how good you try to do for people, be they your people or not, you're going to encounter adversity in this lifetime, but You just have to kind of roll with the punches and do what you feel you're called to do or what you need to personally do. So anyway, today we're going to go back into the second book of Samuel, chapter 24, David's census of Israel and Judah. This chapter also goes into judgment for David's sin. And lastly, it goes into David builds an altar. So here we go. Again, the Lord became angry against Israel, and he incited David against them, saying, "Go and count the people of Israel and Judah." The king said to Joab, the commander of the army who was with him, "Go throughout all the tribes of Israel, from Dan to Beersheba, and muster the people so that I may know the number of the people." Joab said to the king, "May the Lord your God add to the people 100 times as many as they are, in the sight of my lord the king. But why does my lord the king so desire this thing?" However, the king's word prevailed against Joab and the commanders of the army. So Joab and the commanders of the army went out from before the king to register the people of Israel. They crossed the Jordan and camped at Aroer, south of the city in the middle of the ravine of Gad toward Jazer. They went toward Gilead, to the land of Tatim, Hodshi. Then they went toward Dan, Jane, and around Sidon. They went to the fortress of Tyre and all the towns of the Hivites and the Canaanites. They went to the Negev and Beersheba. They went throughout the entire land, and after 9 months and 20 days, they came to Jerusalem. Joab gave the count of the census of the people to the king. There were 800,000 capable men who could draw a sword in Israel, and the men of Judah were 500,000. Judgment for David's sin. Now the heart of David struck him after he had counted the people. David said to the Lord, "I have sinned greatly by what I have done. Now may the Lord take away the iniquity of your servant, for I have behaved very foolishly." When David arose in the morning, the word of the Lord came to the prophet Gad, the seer, for David, saying, "Go and speak to David. Thus says the Lord, 3 options I am laying before you. Choose for yourself one of them, and I will do this to you." So Gad came to David and told him. He said to him, "Shall 7 years of famine come to you in your land? Or shall you flee 3 months before your enemies while they pursue you? Or shall there be 3 days of plague in your land? Now consider and advise what answer I shall return to him who sent me." Interesting. Options. This is interesting to me because I didn't read this in advance. And my goal for this person that I'm trying to make sure doesn't reach her demise too early, I wound up having 3 alternatives for her from what she has right now. 3 is a powerful number. It's the Holy Trinity. And 3 is frequently named in the Bible. David said to Gad, "I am very distressed. Let us fall by the hand of the Lord, for his mercy is great. May I not fall by the hand of man." So the Lord sent a plague upon Israel from the morning until the appointed time. 70,000 men from the people died, from Dan to Beersheba. When the angel stretched out his hand toward Jerusalem to destroy it, the Lord relented from the calamity. He said to the angel who was annihilating the people, "Enough! Now stay your hand." The angel of the Lord was at the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite. On seeing the angel who was striking down the people, David said to the Lord, "Behold, I have sinned and I have done wickedly. These sheep, what have they done? Please let your hand be against me and against the house of my father." Now that would have been a sight to behold. I'm always very fascinated when an angel of the Lord is among the humans at that time, because I would love to have known what exactly did it look like. What was it, just like an energy that was floating around? What was it? Was the angel in human form? What did the angel look like? Did the angel look like something else? That's what I would like to know. David builds an altar. Gad came to David that day and said to him, "Go up and erect an altar to the Lord on the threshing floor of Araunah the Jebusite." So David went up according to the word of Gad, as the Lord commanded. When Araunah looked and saw the king and his servants coming toward him, he went out and bowed low to the king with his face on the ground. Araunah said, "Why has my lord the king come to his servant?" David replied, "To purchase the threshing floor from you in order to build an altar to the Lord, so that the plague may be averted from the people." This is interesting. And I think it's very commendable of David to be like, "Look, I don't want all my people to be killed. Take me instead." That's what David was saying, but God was feeling like, hey, there's a lot more for you to do on earth, so I'm not taking you yet, but we're going to go ahead and conclude this situation. Araunah said to David, "Let my lord the king take and offer up what seems good to him. Here are the oxen for the burnt offering, and the threshing sledges and yokes of the oxen for wood. Everything, O king," Araunah gives to the king. Araunah also said to the king, "May the Lord your God be favorable toward you." However, the king said to Araunah, "No, for I will certainly purchase from you for a fair price. I will not offer up to the Lord burnt offerings that cost me nothing." Interesting. So David was very fair to Araunah in regards to compensating. Nice. And that's kind of a lesson for life. Nothing's for free. Over on one of the projects that I keep up with over here on YouTube on a different channel, I really want to start going into something going on in the Los Angeles area when it comes to a lot of incredibly reduced and even free housing for homeless people. I think it's a wonderful effort that's going on, but I question it. And the reason that I question it is because I think it's making certain people's lives too easy. And that's part of what leads to people being unhomed or homeless to begin with. I guess the question would be, who am I to judge? Nobody. This is just my opinion. But I was just looking at some of this housing that's being granted to people to where they only have to pay 30% of their income, or sometimes they get it for free. And those are some nice apartments. And I was just looking at some videos of it last night. And I was thinking to myself, I work really hard in my life. And sometimes I can barely afford certain things. Plus, at times I help others. But you're telling me that you have people who are not even making an effort to get off illegal substances or deal with other elements of their life, and they're going to have a place to live that's nicer than places that I can afford? Really? So maybe that's me just being envious, but the question just entered my mind. I'm like, so if I do bad in life, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do or what I feel I'm supposed to do, I'm rewarded. But if I do good, I'm punished. But isn't that the lesson of the Bible? It's just things like that are what make me frustrated, which is why I do have to learn how to relax more, which is what I was saying at the beginning of this live stream. But man, that, you know, people wonder, oh, how come so many people who are homeless have such a high level of entitlement? Well, it's because our society, I think, is a bit out of balance. And I really want to look a little bit more into that mayor of LA because I just need to learn more about her, considering a little something that I've noticed. And I'm sure other people have noticed it. And once more, I'm probably putting a target on my head by publicly making it clear as to what I've noticed. But it's something that's not quite right there. All right, let's continue. Everything, O king, Aruna gives to the king. Aruna also said to the king, may the Lord your God be favorable toward you. However, the king said to Aruna, no, for I will certainly purchase from you for a fair price. I will not offer up to the Lord burnt offerings that cost me nothing. So David purchased the threshing floor and the oxen for 50 shekels of silver. David built an altar to the Lord there and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings. Then the land pleaded with the Lord, and the plague was averted from Israel. Okay, so David was able to save his people once more by averting some of God's punishment towards the people of Israel. And that's good. David did a really good job. And wow, that was the end of the second book of Samuel. So we finished the second book of Samuel on the first day of the year. That was not intentional, but meant to be. Meant to be. You know, I was thinking while I was driving the other day about the people of Israel, and I was thinking to myself how often they seem so ungrateful in the Old Testament. But maybe God, the Christian God, chose them on purpose simply because they were ungrateful and unappreciative. And maybe God figured, well, this will be a interesting, challenging, yet enjoyable project for me. Because these particular people, no matter what I do, it's often not good enough. No matter how many miracles I put right in front of their freaking faces, they're still going to act like I'm not even here. Maybe that was the mentality of God at that point. Who knows? But can we ever truly quantify the mentality of God? No, not at all. So everyone have a wonderful first day of the year. Today is the new year. We are finally in the year 2026. What am I going to do today? I still haven't run that errand that I need to run this week, but I'll do it tomorrow because I have a feeling that the place will definitely be open and fully functional tomorrow that I need to go to. So I will do that tomorrow. Today, I will just work. I've been meaning to do a particular video live stream for the past 2 days now, and I haven't gotten around to it, but maybe this is the morning that I'll get around to it. So that would probably be a very good idea. Everyone have a good one. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.